Great. Well, it seems to be nudging up the numbers now, and it's all settling around 50 there, and I can see lots of people have joined. So I'm going to kick off. Just to go. Okay. So my name's Ben Tam. Welcome to this second brokerage event, and also it's on the opening day of the competition. So really excited that we finally reached up to this point and we're able to get going properly with some of the proposals and guidance on that side. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for the enthusiasm and being in touch up till this point. Today's session has been all around getting companies who don't have so much of a footprint in the water sector in the UK the opportunity to have a way to pitch into the sector. So we have a good blend of SMEs, and water companies here to help answer some questions. The format's going to be really simple and it's designed to be short because we want people to follow up outside of this as well. So the format is going to be 4 minutes of presentation with 2 minutes of follow-up questions and an opportunity at the very end of this today to also have some extra follow-up questions. But I do urge, if you hear anything on here you want to follow up, hopefully there'll be the ways to contact each other. There's lots of information now on the newly launched website, but also through ourselves at Isle, Arap and Nesta. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If everybody, because we're using just the Zoom webinar, Zoom meeting platform, if you keep your videos off and on mute during the presentations, obviously apart from the presenter, and it's going to be recorded, and so it will be up hosted later on today or tomorrow with a full transcript alongside it. There'll also be a poll at the very end, and that quick bit of feedback is really helpful just to help keep steering us in the right way. So please just take the minutes it takes to, or less, to just to fill that in at the very end. And we're going to be using Slido for questions. So and there'll be a slide up in a moment there, but if you go to Slido and IWC as the hashtag, then you'll be able to ask your questions. It's just the best way for us to keep track of them. Do upvote other people's questions on there, and we can also respond to things outside of here because we'll have a full record for them. So with that, I'm going to just I've got a couple of slides, and I know that we've got some presenters on the line as well. And we have one master slide deck. So in a Chris Whitty style, it's going to be very much, well, next slide, please. But because we've got so many presenters in one go, it's felt like it's going to be the best way. So please bear with us as we go through some of that. And I'll have to be really strict on timing just to keep it fair across the board. So it'll be a strict 4 minutes. I try my best to give you a 30-second wave, but after that we'll try and close it as close to 4 minutes as possible, please. So I'll just go to my next slide, please, Natasha. So we have 8 presentations today. And we'll dig into those in the moment. I'll be able to introduce them. The clarification questions, if you go to Slido, access code IWC, you'll find everything on there. Next slide, please. There we go. That's the format for everyone just joining on now. It's the 4 minutes of presentation and the 2 minutes for clarification. And we'll try and get any extra further questions at the end. Next slide. Just to make it really clear as well for anybody joining this late or viewing this later on, this is for the Innovation in Water Challenge, a brokerage session. We're launching today, and coming up very soon, the main competition will be launching in springtime. But the aim of today is to try and help companies, potential partners enter into the water sector and have some immediate feedback from water companies in the UK. Next slide. So we're open today. The entry period then closes on the 26th of February, so about 6 weeks to get everything in. The judging panel then get to work after some evaluation, and winners will be informed by very early April, so the money can be dispersed. And just to be ultra clear, the lead applicant on those proposals has to be one of the water companies in England and Wales. There's 17 of those, or one of the new entrants in England and Wales. And they will partner up with solution providers, technology companies, and other ways of working to try and put strong applications in, strong entries in. Great. Well, with that, we're heading up to our first presentation. We've got Teljo and Ben Groves is going to present. I think we've got Ben there. Are you there, Ben?
I'm here. I can't stop my own video though. Don't know if you want to see my face alongside it, but
it's okay to have your video on. I think as being the presenter, I think it fits on everyone's screen. But yeah, so if you're ready to go, then
glad I scrapped the dressing gown this morning. Then
indeed.
Okay, far away.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Ben Groves and we're Teljo. If you could move the first slide along, please. We are here to find a water partner that not only wants to improve their own customers' well-being, reduce levels of arrears, and fulfill PR19 obligations. We are searching for a partner who is as driven, as excited as we are by the idea of building a revolutionary service that is adopted by multiple industries to improve the lives of millions of people. Despite the enthusiasm shown by all parts of the water industry to work on improving affordability and vulnerability, without rapid innovation and adoption, efforts will fall short. Next slide, please. The gap is vast. No company met all of their PR19 obligations by the end of 2020. CCW shows that most customers do not know about priority services. And there are 5 times as many people on universal credit alone than on a social tariff or scheme. Sorry, next slide, please. Teljo is building the only digital discovery, engagement and support service that enables a water company to proactively understand their customers. Understands their customers' characteristics, situations and circumstances. Next slide, please. Simply, when a trigger event occurs, such as a missed payment, failure to answer the door for a pre-arranged visit, or some other procedural instance, an invite to a wellbeing assessment is sent to the customer's phone. It takes less than 7 minutes to complete. They provide explicit consent, and most importantly, they know you care. Next slide, please. Our work to date has been with housing associations and councils, conducting pilots of the service to prove that it works. And it does. 15 times more people disclose vulnerability and affordability information. Almost 40% choose to provide extra information over and above what we ask for. 1 in 3 enter into proactive support systems and drive better outcomes. So why do we want to take part in the challenge? Next slide, please. We know and we can evidence that we bring dramatic improvement to your business in terms of customer satisfaction, profit, and compliance, to name a few. What we haven't yet done and want to prove within the challenge is how to adapt, work alongside, or on top of an existing priority register. We believe the benefits that will accrue through automation and digitalisation of an existing service will far exceed our work to date. Ultimately, through this work, we will create a new, modern, active vulnerability and affordability register that is able to automatically engage and track people's changing risk of crisis. This means that the partnership will create best practice that the whole of the water industry can use and benefit from. Indeed, our end goal would be for this active register to become a central tool that is adopted across industries and agencies. Final slide, please. I just want to say this to finish. There are 16 million people in the UK who suffer from diminished well-being as a result of vulnerability and affordability issues. Teljo believes that we can reach 3 million of them. If you partner with us, we could make the difference to all 16 million. Thank you for the time. Please let me know your contact details if you want a live demonstration of the service. I'm more than happy to run through all the back office with other people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. That was Teljo. It was pretty much bang on time there, so appreciate the quick and speedy delivery. I've been monitoring Slido. There's no direct questions just at the moment, but I imagine there will be as we go through them. So if you stay around towards the end, we can make sure that people have that opportunity.
Thanks, Ben.
But I'm just waiting, just pausing just for a moment, just in case anybody did have a question, if they want to put it on Slido, or if there's one question, people could come off mute now. But if not, we'll just wait until the end. Bro, we'll take that pause as we'll move on to the next one. But thank you very much, Ben. Thanks for being there. Thanks for kicking things off for us. Next up, we have Rewater, and we have a really quick presentation by Lars Walden. I'll get Lars to come off mute and turn the video on.
Yes, hello, can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yeah, thanks very much, Lars. The floor's yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody, and thank you for your interest in this presentation regarding digitalization of existing metering infrastructure. My name is Lars Walden, and I'm the Managing Director of Rewater Communication. Our company is based in London, developing technology for the utility and sub-metering industry. We are supported by Innovate UK and the Sustainable Innovation Fund. This year, we are launching our patent-pending optical meter reader for utility meters. Next slide, please. Digitalization of water meter reading. Most meter readings are today done manually, with long time between actual readings of customer meters. Sometimes the meters only read once or twice a year. In many cases, the bills are generated with estimated values, resulting in great inaccuracy of the billing and little information of the actual status of the consumption. Government regulation and customer demands drives timely meter readings and accurate billing. A real-time monitoring of the consumption data and status of the meters improve the network and minimize losses. Installing AMI, advanced metering infrastructure, and smart metering systems involve high investment and scrapping of the existing metering infrastructure. This is not only very costly, but also takes a lot of time and involves often complicated installations of the new meters. Digitalization and visualization of the meter data in real time improves system operations and customer management. Optical meter reader technology enables cost-effective meter digitalization. Next slide, please. Rewater's optical meter readers are easily mounted on top of existing meters and monitors the meter using multi-sensor technology, providing real-time high-resolution data transmitted to the cloud or through existing data infrastructure. Provides real-time status of the meters, including consumption, environment faults, and leakage detection. Cost-effective system preserving existing meter infrastructure investment. With both mobile radio connectivity and local area networking, the readers can work in many configurations as well as connect to the existing SMETS2 smart metering networks. The optical readers provide the utility company and the users with real-time data to give a true and reliable insight of the status of the measured data of the meters. Next slide, please. The optical readers are easy to install securely on existing meters and provide a non-intrusive installation. The meter uses computer vision with machine learning technology to read the meter register with high accuracy and resolution. The device has multi-sensor design, providing measurement of a number of parameters, leakage detection of microflows, flood detection through external water present, and ambient temperature of the meter, for example. It also has tampering, fraud, and theft detection, providing a secure functionality with patent-pending multi-sensor technology. This device has an advanced connectivity with mobile radio for NB-IoT and local networking using Zigbee, Bluetooth, and Thread. Using Bluetooth, an operator can connect to a meter locally and check its status and setup. The low-power design provides a long battery life. Its power ensures a 10-year lifespan. It's designed using machine learning technology. It shows high-resolution data at high accuracy that is big data compatible. Next slide, please. We are currently supported by Innovate UK with a grant from Sustainable Innovation Fund. We are planning for pilot installations during spring 2021. and you're welcome to contact us for more information. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. If you're interested to speak more with us, you're welcome to contact me at any time. Thank you.
Thanks, Lars. Exactly 4 minutes to win. So thank you for that, and for cantering through so logically through your technology there. We do have a question here on Slido, so I'll just dive straight into that. Do customers have access to their meter reading, as the device seems to block a visual reading when you put the extra piece on top?
Yes, you can, when you want, just ask for a picture of an image of the meter. So you can get it on your mobile or just ask it. So it will take a snapshot with the camera and send it.
And it goes direct to the customer, so the customer has a...
Yeah, that depends on how you configure the system and what access the customer has to. But all the data we make available, so you can integrate it with existing apps or other customer systems that are. And of course, it's non-intrusive, so it's very easy to remove and put on again without problem if someone absolutely wants to read the meter. But this is acceptable for the standards that says that the meter register needs to be read, be possible to read.
Brilliant. Thanks, There's no other question popping up on Slido for me. So thank you very much for your presentation, Lars. Again, if you stick around to the end, there'll be another opportunity for other questions. I can see some other things coming through for Teljo now.
Yep.
Thanks again, Lars. Thanks for participation. Well, next up, we have Waterworld presenting. But just get Dr. Alzira Monjersey to unmute and to put their video on, and I'll apologize whilst they're doing that for butchering the name.
Hi, thank you very much, Ben. So start my video.
Welcome. I'll give you, so the floor is yours here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ali, and I am the founder of Waterworld. Delighted to be presenting our proposition today as part of this Water Innovation Challenge. Next slide, please. So this is an overview of our innovation resulting from years of academic and industrial research. We have developed a forward osmosis technology driven by waste heat. So instead of using high pressure pumps in reverse osmosis, we use an intermediary solution known as the draw solution to be able to treat, desalinate, or dewater the feed. This process is powered by waste heat instead of electricity, because we have removed the need for running at high pressures. Two applications of this technology highly relevant to wastewater treatment works are: one, using waste heat from biogas engines at wastewater treatment works to treat final effluent and supply process water. For example, boiler feed water or water for mixing with chemicals, or simply industries that may be next door with a need for water. The second application at wastewater treatment works is to dewater either sludge or digestate in order to reduce the consumption of flocculants, as one of the very few oil and gas derivatives widely used across the sector. So both of these applications would have a significant impact in reaching the sector's net zero ambitions and adapting to climate change. Next slide, please. The solution offered here will take two waste streams to deliver financial and environmental value to wastewater treatment works. It is 35% lower in terms of capital costs and 80% lower in operating costs compared to what's already available in the market. So by recycling water at wastewater treatment works, we'll be able to not only reduce costs, but also the demand on the already stretched potable water supply. Reducing the consumption of chemicals and using waste heat will most certainly contribute to the environmental performance of wastewater treatment works. And the technology will also provide a platform for a sustainable transition to water reuse, which is becoming a necessity in certain parts of the UK. Next slide, please. So where are we in terms of technology development? In March this year, we will start testing our first plant, treating 10 cubic meters of final effluent per day to deliver potable water. This patent-pending technology will also be tested for sludge and digestate dewatering and also desalination. Now, what do we need from water companies? It would be a great opportunity for us to trial the technology at wastewater treatment works, and through that, generate data on the financial and environmental savings that can be achieved using the technology. We would also engage with a partnering company to establish the flows of water, energy, chemicals at a specific site or several sites to develop a full business case for industrial scale-up. Next slide, please. So thank you very much. And I would be delighted to hear from you if any of this is of interest. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ali. And yeah, thanks for that presentation. Sort of a clear urge there out to the sector. Pretty clear on what Ali and Waterworld would like to do. We've got one question here, just from the top here. I'll go for, what's the final quality of final effluent required for reuse?
So this technology basically offers a step change in terms of technology. There is a lot of tweaking that would be done, and hence the need for being able to partner with a water company to assess and analyze their final effluent water quality. But because this is aimed at, really, really dirty water and lots of TDS, so for example, we'll be able to test this for desalination, most final effluent qualities in the UK will be compatible with this technology.
Okay, that sounds pretty clear. What are you considering as state-of-the-art for CapEx/OpEx comparisons?
Reverse osmosis. So the reason why this is a lot cheaper in terms of both capital and operating costs compared to reverse osmosis is that we have removed the need for pumping the feed water at really high pressures. And that's why we don't need high pressure pumps. We don't need high pressure piping or vessels and energy recovery devices because of that draw solution and the processing that we have designed in this technology.
Brill, thanks for that. There's a few more questions here, so we'll try and get to them maybe in the follow-up after this. But I'll take the last one here, which came up, which is, will the pilot test the 3 types of water types you mentioned?
Yes, absolutely. So the pilot has been designed in a way that is capable of taking all those 3 feeds.
Bro, thanks for that rapid fire answering of questions there. I'll leave it at that. I think there might be a couple more which should come through on Slido, but I'll make sure they're sense checked and we'll pose them right at the end. But yeah, thank you very much for that presentation.
Thank you, Ben.
So we just move on to our next presenter. We've got Aquagratis and Caroline Hogg. Caroline Hogg is going to present. If you come off mute.
Right, I'm just off mute and, oh, am I still there?
Yep.
Gone strange, hang on. Yeah, got a different screen came up there. Right.
How's that?
Hello. Okay, I just start.
Yeah, go for it.
Bath and shower water account for 35% of household water use. Aquagratis' short retention micro domestic rewater reuse system is carbon negative, outclassing its competitors. It captures bath and shower water, reuses it to flush the toilets, making a 30% saving on domestic water consumption. The smart meter enhances the savings to 45%. Water companies are obliged to reduce domestic water consumption from 140 litres per person per day to 100. I'm Caroline Hogg, Managing Director of Cascade Water Products. My award-winning team want to make the world a better place by saving water in the home. Processing water and, sorry, next slide, please. Processing water and sewage is responsible for 17% of local greenhouse gas emissions. It's shocking. Water is an energy-consuming sector. New energy-efficient solutions need to be implemented urgently. The contribution water makes to climate change is not discussed publicly. Transparency is required. Aqua Gratis ticks so many boxes. It gives great sustainability impact for very little cost and is almost market ready. Sustainable water is one of the biggest challenges facing water companies. Next slide, please. Why do we continue to use drinking water to flush our toilets? Domestic grey water reuse is not new. Maybe there has been a reluctance to wholeheartedly engage with it because earlier grey water reuse systems are perceived to be expensive to install, maintain, and also not built with the circular economy in mind. What will it take for a micro domestic grey water reuse system to spark the interest of the water companies and developers? Aqua Gratis, designed to be carbon negative in all but single households. It is energy efficient with gravity-fed self-cleaning stainless steel filters. Aqua Gratis has been built to surpass the British standard 8525. So another feature is a gravity-fed toilet, thus having a toilet always working in a power cut. Next slide, please. The government, the Department of the Environment and regulatory bodies are putting the water companies under unprecedented legislative and fiscal pressure to meet the water challenge. The water companies have a section in their website encouraging the customer to change their behaviour and be more water efficient by taking shorter showers, turning off taps when brushing teeth and washing dishes. These actions give a 5% water saving. Aqua Gratis gives at least a 30% saving in one hit. Next slide, please. Water companies can't achieve this change in behaviour on their own and depend on the cooperation of new home developers to work in partnership to achieve these targets. In the UK, public interest in grey water recycling on an individual house basis is growing. Waterwise recently published research on grey water reuse and rainwater harvesting. It's available on their website. This is a significant breakthrough, but more work needs to be done to increase the widespread awareness on the benefits of adopting domestic grey water reuse. It's a win-win situation for customer, utility, and the environment. We are targeting to build the build to rent and social housing market. We want to create a pilot collaboration with water companies, house builders, housing associations, and the Duchy of Cornwall. Help save our planet for future generations by supporting Aqua Gratis, protecting the blue planet, one flush at a time. Thank you.
Thank you. That was spot on as well. This is easier to make my job as chair particularly easy today. Thank you so much for that sharp presentation. I've got a few questions. A question here on Slido for you. If the system is run through gravity, are you relying on the toilet being lower than the shower/bath waste?
Yes. We have designed the system so that with a two-storey house in mind, so that the bath and shower is above the system and it's fed down to the downstairs toilet. If we are in the situation where it's on a same level, then yes, a pump will be needed to pump the water to the system. It is something we've thought about.
Oh, thank you. And I guess just one clarification question would be, what is it exactly you would want from a potential water company to involve, in terms of a project or a trial here?
Well, I would like them to help us get access, open doors, so that we can get into our target market, have the trials with them, start off with a small test house, and then move into a bigger pilot.
Thank you. I have one further question here before we head off. How much energy is used per litre by the unit to clean the water from the showers?
How much energy? I haven't done an energy calculation, but as I said, it's done by gravity. So there's no no electricity. The only electricity that is used is to pump the water to the upstairs toilet.
Okay. And so one more here. Oh, it's gone from my screen. Oh, here we go. Sorry, someone's upvoted it. Who would pay for the kit and install, and who would maintain this kit?
The housing association or the developer would be the person that would pay for the system. What we would expect, though, is that the water companies would be giving the developer a discount on their water connection charges, so then it brings the cost down. We also have the Green Deal that is being launched as part of the Build Back Better. So we have got energy efficient doors and windows being encouraged to be installed. And I do know, I've seen that Waterwise have written a letter to get water considered for the Green Deal as well. So there could be discounts available for that through a Green Deal package.
Brilliant.
The maintenance, we do an annual maintenance, and we expect that to run like a boiler service. Now, to start with, we would be running the maintenance program, but it does give the water companies, if they wish to engage with us, that they could run the maintenance program.
Thanks for that clarity there. Yeah, some potential avenues there in terms of that, you know, and I guess is what this kind of fund is here to do. It's help smooth over these early stages and try and understand what business models might work and how it is funded. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
I'll move on to our next presentation. Our next presentation is by Clearwater Sensors. Paul Wilkinson, if you're there.
I'm here. Am I coming through okay?
Bro.
Fantastic.
I'll hand the floor to you and give you 4 minutes. Thanks.
Fantastic. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Clearwater Sensors. We provide autonomous water chemistry monitoring instrumentation. We can lower the costs of accessing high quality data in really remote, high, difficult to access or environments where you need to monitor long term. Could I have the next slide, please? So a little bit about our capabilities in terms of sensor instrumentation itself. We are based on wet chemistry assays rather than electrode or opto type systems, and thus we can provide parameters that we can monitor that are slightly different. So nitrate, phosphate, silicate, and iron with onboard reagents. Onboard reagents are all self-contained. We can deploy into the environment for a very long period of time. With the system as presented in the picture, we can monitor for 3 months, taking hourly readings. Longer periods is dependent on user-defined sampling profile. So if you want to monitor every half day or day, we can stretch that period out much longer. Longest period we've had is year-long type deployments. The cartridge itself is hot swappable, so you can hot swap in and out the new reagents and start measuring again fairly quickly, limiting the amount of downtime you have for your monitoring case. And probably one of the key aspects is that we can hook into several data solutions and have used several data solutions in the past to provide the data in close to real time through web portals or telemetry. We've used things like 3G networks like low power WAN, and if you're in a particular route and particularly deep pockets Iridium. We also log data on board as well, or could hook into any existing infrastructure through standard protocols. All reagents are stored on board, so we don't expel anything into the environment. And just an example of our user profile, data profiles that we can produce at the bottom there. So that's a 2-month-long discretionary profile in Greenland with some discrete sampling just to benchmark and truth and make sure that our data is comparable to what you'd get for manual in the lab sampling. Next slide, please. How it all works, and we as a company ourselves, so we're a very young company. We span out the University of Southampton, a UK National Oceanography Centre in 2020. However, the technology itself has been developed for 10 plus years based on microfluidic platform for standard lab-based wet chemistry analysis. With those deployments, we've had 200 plus in various environments, marine and freshwater. And again, I guess the example of our nitrite sensor on the bottom left there. So yeah, 200 global deployments. This includes deep ocean, so we can drop down to 6,000 meters depth. We have done deployments such as that.
30 seconds, please, Paul.
Sure, next slide, just closing out. And as I mentioned, we're based on a common sensor platform. So although with those are the parameters that we do have available, nitrate, phosphate, silicate, dissolved iron, and pH, we can integrate any kind of standard colorimetric assay onto our common platform itself. And we are working towards some of those parameters you see in the bottom left there: manganese, ammonium, and integrated conductivity, temperature, dissolved oxygen. We're a new company coming from a marine deployment background. So we're really interested in understanding the key parameters and key technical features that are required to the water industry. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. I'm just looking for questions which have come up. Nothing's been up here. I'm sort of checking the Zoom slide as well. I guess just one really quick one for me. On that slide you had previously, is that a sensor on a chip that you've got there, which is in the hand and the glove? You didn't mention.
Yes, so that's our integrated CTDO miniaturized electrode for monitoring CTD NO. So that's kind of the next integration. It's integration of that chip and those parameters onto a nutrient sensor platform. So the next iteration in the next 6 months will be offering one of those key parameters as well as integrated CTDO on the same platform.
One question which has just come in, so thanks for answering that. Is when do you expect to be able to measure ammonium?
Ammonium, obviously particularly one of interest, it does require some quite interesting technical development in gas exchange on microfluidic platform. We do have a development program based in the National Oceanography Centre and an Innovate program within the company itself. Difficult to put an exact time on it, but program within a year or so.
Brilliant, thank you. Just the same last question before that, what would you want from a water company as a partner in this?
We are very much looking for guidance and steer on some of the key technical features that are needed for deployment in those specific environments. I mentioned we come from a marine deployment background with many successful dips in the ocean, but I just there will be very nuanced technical features that are required for the water industry that we're keen to understand and actually integrate into our development program. So anyone that can help us understand that, as well as anyone that can offer actual real life deployments in those environments of interest, would be fantastic.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for answering those questions. If any more come up, I will pose them at the end. But we'll move on to our next one. This is a presentation on floating wind turbines. I'm going to struggle with super. What? There we go. Thanks, James. Thanks for sorting. Thanks for coming to the rescue on that one. I will hand over the floor to you if you have your camera and you're unmuted.
Thanks, Ben. Is the video working? I can't
see you, but your audio is working fine, so that's fine.
Okay, I've started the video. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity to introduce you to Superwind. My name is James Winnie, and I'm the CEO and founder of the company. Next slide, please, Ben. So the challenge, Ofwat challenge is net zero. Next slide, please, Ben. So what has floating wind turbines got to do with the water industry? Well, floating wind, according to the Committee on Climate Change in their August 2020 report, says floating wind is a strategic technology for the UK to reach net zero by 2050. And the government is going to support 1 gigawatt of floating wind power in the UK with increased financial support in order to accelerate the technology's commercialization. And that the target, therefore, is for that 1 gigawatt to be built or in the process of being built by 2030. The government is sorry. The government is also supporting investment in offshore wind, because the build out of offshore wind is so large that it's looking for new investors into the offshore wind sector. And there will be an increasing need for floating wind technology from 2030 to 2050 as the better sites are built out for fixed foundations. And global forecasts expect to see 250 gigawatts of floating wind turbines by 2050. So that's around the world. Thanks, Ben. Next slide. So what is Superwind? Well, it's a vertical axis wind turbine, which have been around, I'm told, for millennia. The first wind turbines were most likely vertical axis wind turbine. The technology is primarily started out being a wind turbine technology, and it's new and not obvious, and it's been patented not just in the UK but in other countries as well. Independent assessors from Innovate UK have rated the technology as game-changing and disruptive for floating wind in particular. And floating Superwind will be productive, efficient, and low impact. We expect Superwind turbines to substantially reduce the cost of electricity from floating wind farms. Next one. So what is the context for the water sector? Well, Superwind is looking for funding and a test site for a proof of efficiency turbine about 250 kilowatts in size on land and then possibly on water. And also looking to see if there's any interest in the commercial business development of floating wind farms in the future. That could be PPAs, flat power purchase agreements from floating wind farms, or investing in the commercial development of the wind farms themselves. Next slide, please, Ben. With a little bit of Latin, si ventus in alveus halbes nihil dirit, which I think means if you have windy water, you'll want for nothing. Thank you very much for letting me bring this opportunity to your attention. If you're interested in leading or being a participant, please do get in touch with me. There's my email address and telephone number. Thank you.
Thanks, James. Yeah, it's a really interesting presentation. I'm sure this will get in front of different energy teams across the sector to sort of have a deeper look at on this. I can't, oh wait, there is a question here. Why the water industry? That's quite a good question, isn't it?
That's a good question. Yeah, well, I think probably because you've got solar on reservoirs, and obviously, you know, that solar is now going offshore. You see a number of projects that are being developed with solar out at sea offshore. So you might be a nursery for technology, I think, the water industry. You could look at things with fresh eyes maybe. And obviously reservoirs would be a cheaper place to test this technology than going offshore straight away. It's very expensive to do. It's obviously a safer, easier place to trial a new technology, like a floating wind turbine. So it's pretty ideal really for that.
Sounds intriguing. There could definitely be something there. I know we had the build up around floating solar. There's no direct questions here. You've got a very clear ask for the sector, so I won't ask any more clarification questions unless anybody sends something through. Now I'm just going to check Zoom. Nothing there. Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation, James. Like I said, I'm sure go in front of different energy teams. If you stick around, if there's any other clarification questions, I'll try and ask them at the end.
Thank you, Ben.
So our final presentation here is by Propel Air. Alex Newman will be presenting, if you're there.
I am indeed. Thank you very much, Ben.
Alex, I'll give the floor to you for 4 minutes.
Thank you very much. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex Newman, and I'm the Director of Innovation here at Propel Air. And today I would like to introduce you to Propel Air and talk to you about our proposal for the Innovation in Water Challenge. If you could move to the next slide, please. So here at Propeller, we design and manufacture what we believe is the world's lowest water flushing toilet. We use a combination of air and water, and through that we are able to reduce water use to just 1.5 litres per flush. Now, I think you'll know the average person uses 141 litres of water per day, of which that's increased from 85 litres since the 1960s. And 24% of that is used for flushing toilets. So that's 12,350 litres of potable water flushed per person per day down the drain. And you'll know, I think it was mentioned earlier in the presentation, that the industry set very strict targets to reduce personal water use to between 70 to 100 litres per person per day. I think I've seen by about 2065, but sooner if possible. Another thing you may also know is that leaking toilets are responsible for wasting up to 400 million litres of water every year. The next slide, please. So our current product has been developed for the commercial market, and it provides our customers with water savings of up to 84%. And we also address the leaky loo issue. We do that because we don't use a conventional drop valve. And we reduce germs by up to 95% through our unique lid, which has got to be closed to start the flush. So we've recently completed a Horizon 2020 project, which has assessed the impact of reduced water on drains. I'm glad to say that that project was very successful. Working with Exeter University, we showed that reduced water actually doesn't affect drains at all. The project also focused on identifying a route to enable entry into the residential market. Now, the residential market is much larger than the commercial market. In the UK, some 40 million toilets installed in residential properties, so a great opportunity to reduce water usage in residential homes. So our short-term focus has been on the commercial proposition. We're developing a product focusing with an auto open-close lid to improve hygiene. And we're also looking at IoT-based upgrades, which we think could have applications to advise of potential drain issues, and other benefits, including monitoring flush count and identifying service and maintenance needs. Next slide, please. So our innovation in water challenge is to develop our existing product further, to refine it and develop it so it's fit for the residential market. Our recent Horizon 2020 project has enabled us to identify specific needs in the residential sector. So lower cost, comparable size to current toilets available, ease of installation and minimal maintenance needs. So currently we focus at the commercial market, where installation and maintenance is pretty much the norm. In the residential market, we need more refinement to be able to enter that market. So we're seeking funding to support the next exciting stage of our development. We think it's very exciting, which will enable the benefits of Propeller's unique water-saving technology to be refined to suit the residential market and enable water companies and your customers to be able to gain the reductions in water our product can provide. And we'd love the opportunity to discuss our proposals with any interested parties. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Alex. Rounding our presentation, thanks to all the presenters for sticking really close to the time and keeping this a fast-paced event. I do have a question here to just come up. Do you also provide disabled toilets using the same technology?
So our current product can be fitted in to disabled washrooms. We provide guidance on how that can be achieved. And certainly with some of the new features that we plan on launching, our auto open close lid, that make it even more applicable for that kind of environment.
Thanks for that. Another one here. I've seen similar toilets in service stations. What's the difference between these and your product?
So the ones you'll have seen in service stations will actually be ours, our current product. The product in service stations was our first generation, and you'll start to see new generations coming through that we're working on at the moment. But the ideal is that is very much those products designed for the commercial market. And what we're looking to do through this challenge is make it more suited for the residential market. and there are some differences that we need to address.
Thank you. And a final question here is that how often is maintenance required? What's the cost difference compared to a conventional toilet on average?
Maintenance, we test, as with all plumbing products, they're required to withstand the 200,000 cycle lifetime tests, which we have done, and we're tested and approved too. So we're comparable maintenance to standard toilets. Yes, we do have a few more components, but we believe that they're robust enough in the market. We're looking to improve upon that for the residential, though, to bring that down even further.
You seem to have got a whole raft of questions here, so I'm going to ask a couple more to round out numbers here. So, do you use standard plumbing fittings?
Yes, we do.
That's an easy one. How different is installation, and can a standard plumber install it?
Installation, we fit straight to conventional drains. So yes, a standard plumber can install. The one thing that we do need is an electrical point, which usually does require a spark key coming in and just fitting in a fused spur.
And the last question, I'll try and I think I get the sense of it, is that Propeller for homes is starting with housing associations or similar, or going straight to any households?
I think we're open for discussion. I think our initial thought probably is to get the awareness and raise the awareness of the product in the residential market, then housing associations would make a lot of sense. So yes, that's probably a very good way to start. I think it's about raising awareness to really get into that marketplace and gain the benefits for everybody.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for the rapid fire questions.